Good morning, everyone. Well, as cool as yesterday was in the region, today is actually looking even cooler because there are going to be more clouds around and there's going to be more rain around. So let's time things out for you starting at 8 a.m. this morning. It looks like isolated showers for the morning commute, so there are going to be gaps, but I do want to mention the chance of encountering some rain for the morning commute. And this is going to be the story throughout the day. I think at any given time there are going to be showers around. It's just not going to be raining right over you throughout the day. Notice 11 a.m. isolated showers, gaps, but rain around. Now, I will say it does look like a little bit better chance in the afternoon. In fact, I bet the peak is probably going to end up being the late afternoon, but notice at 2 o'clock in the early afternoon. Now we're talking about scattered showers, so even fewer gaps around than what we were seeing in the morning hours. And I tell you what, all of these clouds and rain really holding down temperatures. So look at 4 or 5 o'clock when we typically hit our high temperatures this time of year. Could we be sitting in the upper 50s in Michigan City? That is a real possibility. I think most of us are only going to reach the low to mid 60s, and at best, we're talking about maybe around the Kentland area getting to 70 degrees. And the reason for the difference in temperatures is, again, winds still out of the northwest, so close you are to the lake, that holding temperatures down. But also notice here, I talked about the peak of the activity being in the late afternoon, but also notice that really I think the story throughout the day, though I talked about there, it would be raining for a little bit and then stopping and raining for a little bit and stopping. Well, I'll mention this. The farther north and east you live, the fewer breaks in the rain today. The farther south and west you live, the more breaks there will be, because to the north and east, you're closer to the center of this low pressure system. So there are not going to be as many breaks in the showers as there are going to be to the southwest. Now, I'll also say, could there be a couple of thunderstorms today? Yes, there will be some heavy rain and lightning in spots, but I think this is mostly going to be light to moderate showers. But we'll mention the chance for thunderstorms. Certainly not any severe storms with temperatures this cool. And one more thing, what's going to make it feel extra cool is this is going to be a breezy day. We're talking about gusts around 25 miles per hour in the afternoon. So particularly if you're right next to the lake and rain is coming down, the breezy conditions, it is not going to be feeling like mid-June. All right, let's take a look at 8 o'clock. Yeah, we're still talking about scattered showers, even into the early evening hours. Now, jump ahead to 11 o'clock. The late evening finally backing off. And so at 11 o'clock, just isolated showers. So let's talk about tomorrow. I'll tell you what, for the morning commute tomorrow, I'm not going to rule out a shower or two being around. See that tiny little green dot trying to show up over the lake? It's possible. I think more likely it's just going to be cloudy though. So I think most are going to have a dry morning commute. And I do think for tomorrow, the chance of rain is only during the early morning hours. By the time we get to lunchtime tomorrow, it's probably still going to be mostly cloudy, but we'll be done with the showers. And then the question for tomorrow is going to be, how quickly will the clouds break up? It does look like we're going to make the transition to partly cloudy skies tomorrow afternoon, but the longer it takes, the cooler tomorrow is going to be. Now, certainly tomorrow is looking warmer than today, a much smaller rain chance, and winds aren't going to be as strong tomorrow. There'll be a light breeze, gusts around 15 miles per hour. Because the winds aren't going to be as strong, the lake won't have as big of an impact on temperatures. That said, keep in mind that normal high temperatures for this time of year, we should be averaging the low 80s. Instead, possibly still right next to the lake, low 60s. But I do think for most of us, we're talking about upper 60s, low 70s, and again, a little bit warmer to the south and west. And we'll keep an eye on this, because if the clouds break up faster, it may end up being warmer tomorrow. But if it takes a little bit longer for the clouds to break up, we might end up being a couple of degrees cooler. But I like what the model's showing here, with most of us being the upper 60s, low 70s for tomorrow afternoon. And finally, before we wrap up, how well do you know lightning? There's some really bad myths about it out there that confuse people. So on this week's episode of Across the Sky, we are busting those myths and giving you the right advice about how to stay safe from lightning. So be sure to check out the podcast below this video or wherever you get your podcasts.